Good morning, folks. This is Uche Njoku, sneaker principal, and I am. I just dropped off my kids at their summer camp, and I am on my way to work. And I wanted to make this quick video. I'm hoping the audio actually is going to be good. I'm using a different phone. I'm using my Google Pixel, and as you can tell, it's positioned um, over my shoulder to the right of me. So I hope the audio is picking up and I don't have to do anything with the audio. Um, so the reason I want to make this video is, first of all, I want to thank all the people who've been very supportive on my journey to get the car that I leased in my possession, at least the replacement. For those of you who don't know, on June 1st, I went in and leased a 2025 Honda Pilot, the Trailsport edition, and and yeah, walked in there, took a couple of hours, signed the paperwork, got the tool that I wanted, walked out, and literally in less than 48 hours, I was back in the dealership. So that was from Saturday the 1st to yeah, this guy just almost hit a cop car. I'm sorry. You might have seen that from right over there. But yeah, um, the so from that Saturday the 1st to Monday, I brought the car back in. I drove off the lot with 3 miles on the car, came back in with 43 miles, and had all kinds of lights on my dashboard going off. And they did diagnostics. They were like, maybe it might have just been a hiccup, and they drove the car around and they saw nothing. Then they drove it for an extended period of time, and these lights came back on. And it took them. They got a code that first day. They weren't sure what the code meant. Then I think the following day, or maybe 2 days later, they heard back from Honda USA, to whom they sent the code to, and the decision was that the car needed a brand new transmission, which is kind of crazy to me because we're talking about a brand new car at that point in time, with only 43 miles on it, needing a brand new transmission. And apparently this is not out of the ordinary. It's rare, but it happens. Um, so my other videos, I shared my frustrations going through the process and trying to get the car fixed, trying to get another car, and all those other things. Well, about 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, I was told by the general manager at Honda of New Rochelle that the decision had been made to just give me a new car, like the same model, same trims and everything, same color, just give me a new one. And I was told that I would have the car between the 6th and the 10th of July. So I was like, okay, great. And then not only that, at that point in time, my first car note was due. My lease payment had been due. And I was told that, don't worry about it, they'd cover it. The dealership would cover it. And which I think is fair because, again, I signed a lease for a vehicle that I wasn't even driving. It wasn't even in my possession. It's like, signing a lease on an apartment, and you expect to pay rent, but the landlord has told you can't move in. You indefinitely cannot move in, but you still have to keep paying rent. So you'd be like, nah, screw that. Take them to court or something, or just flat out refuse to pay. So I made that argument, and they were like, they'd cover my car note. He's the first car note, and I was fine with that. But to my understanding, by the 10th, I would have a new car and I'd be good to go, and they will have to do a whole new contract and all that, right? So the 10th comes along, I don't get a phone call. Then the 11th, the 12th, so I believe it was the 12th that I finally went in to the dealership, and I was like, hey, I'm just curious. I was told XYZ was going to happen within a certain time frame. Nothing has happened. No one has called me, and he told me, well, the shipping date got pushed back. I'm like, but how come? Someone should have called to let me know this, And they were like, well, we apologize. Okay, fine. Where's the new date? The 28th. So now, the shipping date for the replacement car is, or delivery date is the 28th, which is at the end of the month, which will make it Shy by 2 days, 2 months pretty much since I signed this lease for a car that I've not been able to drive beyond the first 24 hours. So as you can imagine, I was not too happy about that. But I'm like, what can I do? You know, one thing can be said. You know, to their credit, I am in a loaner car. It's a 2024 Honda Passport, the black edition trim. I like it. It's not far off at all from my 2019 Honda Elite. Apart from the color, everything's pretty much the same. But you know, nice car, but it's not the car that I wanted. It's not the car that I paid for or signed up for. So, so yeah. So now I have to wait till the 28th for my 2025 Sonic Gray Trailsport Edition Honda Pilot. But I mean, what can I do? You know, that's the thing. I am frustrated. I appreciate all of you who are giving me more support, and some of you shared your stories. It's been very helpful. But I'm trying to be patient and just be like, you know what? It is what it is. You know, I'm alive. I'm breathing. There are people out there who can't even afford to even get a car, to talk less about, you know, first world problems. But there was one thing though that they kind of get on my nerves. So there was an agreement that came from the mouth of the general manager saying, you know, they would take care of that first car note. Well, I received a call saying that, hey, your bill's overdue. You haven't paid yet. What's going on? I told them, like, listen, the dealership said they're going to take care of it. They're like, well, there's no notes in here. We've got nothing from them. You need to call them and find out what's going on. So, as you can imagine, like, I'm like, now you got me doing more work. You know, even though you said X, Y, Z was going to be taken care of, and now I got to start doing some investigations to see what's going on. And told her, okay, fine. Yesterday after work, I went straight to the dealership, got there, and I was like, what's going on? And I spoke to one of the managers, the floor managers, and he was like, you know what? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you pay the bill, and when we do the contract, we'll subtract the amount of money that you paid, you know, on those notes. And I was like, absolutely not. No. First off, based on the fact that general manager told me one thing and did not follow through with the delivery or with making sure those payments were taken care of. So I'm being asked to take money out of my pocket to pay for something that you're gonna not even reimburse me on. You're going to kind of roll it into the new contract. Screw that. I'm not doing that. So, and I told them I'm not doing that. You know, I told them I'm going to talk to the general manager and really understand what's going on here. So the outcome ended up being, all right, check this out. Go ahead, pay the note. We're gonna put together a check request for the amount that you paid. So you pay the note. In 2 days' time, you come back here, we'll give you a check for what you paid. And I was like, you know what? Reluctantly, okay, let's do that. Because this paperwork is a paper trail now provided to me that can say, you said this, here's the paperwork, I took pictures of it saying that this is what the agreement is. I'll make that payment and you will reimburse me within 48 hours. But my biggest thing is this. I don't want to be putting money out that I don't have to, okay? These are multi-billion-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar dealerships who don't have to worry about the things I have to worry about. So with that being said, I'm like, nah, you know, cut me a check and we'll be good. And then I have to remind them, like, what if this happens again next month? You guys are gonna keep cutting me checks because this is ridiculous. You know, all I want is just to have my car and get back to being a normal citizen, paying my car note and all that stuff. So this is where I'm at right now. You know, it is what it is. I'm gonna do my best to be patient, but I definitely want to not be taken advantage of. And that's my overall real goal here. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your supportive words. And one last thing, if anybody here knows anyone at Honda who can help my brother out, please let me know. Even just a conversation, a real conversation, because I'll tell you this, the thing that surprised me the most is that, I think I mentioned this before, one of the earlier videos, about Honda and their whole mantra around safety. And the day that my car went haywire, I was on a highway in New York City. People zipping by back and forth, and I'm asking myself, what if I didn't have the wherewithal to know what was happening? All of a sudden, my engine locked up and my transmission locked up, and as you know, I am in the middle of a multi-person collision. You know, and if you know anything about me, I got 2 kids, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. I pick them up from school. I drop, I take them to school, bring them back from school in the car. But what if they were in the car that day? It's kind of scary. So yeah, let me stop there. I'm starting to ramble. If you know anybody from Honda who's willing to like have a conversation with me and just help me understand why is all this happening, that'd be great. But in the meantime, like, share, continue to follow. I really appreciate those of you who are part of the story, and I look forward to some good news in the very near future. All right.